Hey everybody, I'm Doug and this is OSRPG. Welcome to our character introduction video where we'll be meeting Lillith Hanlon. These intro videos are small vignettes about each one of the characters in our story. You can watch the other intros at our YouTube channel. After that, you can check us out live on Twitch. With all that out of the way, please sit back and enjoy the story. Hi, I'm Doug, and I'll be the storyteller for the evening, and I would like to introduce you to...
I'm Angela, also known as Lillith Hanlon.
The sun sets over an old house. It sits on a hill shrouded by tall evergreen trees. The house has been sitting there for many years, occupied by its resident, who had taken it over from her parents after it had been left vacant by their absence from this world. As she awakens, she feels a hunger. A terrible, seething hunger. Your stomach clenched. You arise, not like waking up, not like a human. It occurs to you the differences, because you could still remember it fresh in your mind, what's like to wake up. That these nights, it is less like waking up and more like something lifeless stirring. You exit oblivion to find yourself sitting in your basement on top of your mattress that you have dragged down from upstairs. Scattered around the floor are your clothes and things that you've had to make space for in a rather haphazard fashion, as you are still unaccustomed to being trapped with only existing in the night. You awaken from your torpor, your slumber of a vampiric nature, and you see the sort of like, you know, blue that the sky is still. It's early in the night. You could still almost think you might be able to see the sunlight if you hadn't already learned that first lesson of your nature, that the sun is forever taken from you. Around the garage are, you know, the normal things you see in a garage, or not a garage, but a basement. Sorry. You know, your laundry bins and things like that. But you've made kind of a home down here. Seems pretty nice. It occurs to you that perhaps you could do a little bit more. You've kind of managed to shield the mattress away in the farthest part of the basement. You look over at the pile of junk in folded cardboard boxes of your parents' things. What do you do?
I'm gonna get up, look around, take stock, maybe a little bit of nostalgia as I look at my parents' boxes. And I'm gonna walk upstairs. After a moment, I'm gonna walk upstairs and head to the kitchen.
You walk upstairs, and you immediately come into the small, narrow hallway of the home. A single-story house. You're immediately confronted with the scene of last night. And as you look into the bathroom, in the bathroom is a rather hurriedly and quite frankly not really well done, hurried, cleaned mess on the tiled steps of blood that lead to the bathtub, where there is still water and the floating remains of your animal companion, your cat. You remember losing control, and the hurried, fevered sort of panic that set you in as you had to clean the guilt and the shame of losing control like that. The horror as you felt your body dull and thicken as sun was coming. And you knew you had to try to get as much done as you can, but you can't really look at the scene now. It's too visceral and too vivid. How does it... What goes through your mind?
Guilt, disgust, disbelief, questioning everything. Am I insane? How could I do this? What's happening?
You, do you do anything else? You're standing in the hallway?
I'm going to go grab some rags and cleaning products from the kitchen, and attempt to cover up the body, pick it up, and bury it.
Okay, so you're confronting this memory.
Yeah, and mostly because it needs to be cleaned up right away.
Okay. So you go and grab. You could find implements in your normal cleaning products in the kitchen and that sort of thing, and you get to work. It doesn't take very long. You had done quite a bit on the most of the tile floor and everything like that. You had to drain the bathtub, and then you take the body out. And you walk into your small but cozy sort of backyard situation, and you find a place to bury her.
I'll bury her, and then I'll take a seat next to the grave and light a smoke.
You sit there and feel the dull drag. You're still getting accustomed to... There's almost like a hesitant... You finish your cigarette. Smoking's a little strange to you now, because every time you light one, you get this almost very small, it's not overpowering by any means, stretch of the imagination, but very small, like sort of like hesitancy, like your body's almost recoiling from the flame of the lighter. It's starting to become unnoticeable. right? But everything is so new. You feel something in the back of your pocket that because you've been sitting for a very long time.
I'll reach back and pull it out and look at it.
You see the metal card, flat and shiny, polished, that says The Perfect Dream, and it has an address. You remember when you were given this card the last time he came to you? Barely saying anything other than to not feed on others of your kind. And then he gave you this thing and simply said, answers.
I'm gonna pull out the card and inspect it, and it's got an address and a phone number.
It doesn't have a phone number. It just has an address. And it has a date as well, which is tonight's night.
I'm gonna get up, toss the cigarette, and then I'm going to walk back in the house, avoiding the bathroom, the bottom bathroom completely, and going for the master bedroom bathroom so I can take a shower.
Okay, so you go upstairs and you clean up. What are you wearing?
No, it's a one-story house, so I'm going towards the back to the master bedroom in the back. Right now, I'm wearing scrubs with a hoodie and some sneakers, some light blue scrubs with a black hoodie and some white sneakers.
Okay. So yeah, you're not changing out of that at all?
Once I go to the bathroom and start showering.
Okay, so you shower, you clean. Showers still give you the sense of relief that you would normally have, but not quite in the same way. The sensations on your body, everything, you still feel, of course, but everything seems muted in the face of that just perpetual gnawing. It's like you're always finding yourself distracted by your clenched jaw, or maybe rubbing your lips together, imagining the substance that you are craving. You finish and dress, and I presume go to leave.
Yeah, I'll make my way out the house and to that address that's on that card.
What sort of car, or how does she get around? How does Lillith get around?
She has a car, a very simple, small, sporty, cheapo beater that gets her from point A to point B. She's not very much about cars, just transportation.
Okay, so you get your small economy car that it never seems to work with perfection. It just kind of always has like a little quirks. Maybe it takes a long time starting, or maybe it just seems like it drifts a little bit on the road every now and then, or the radio doesn't work quite as right. You have to bang on it a couple times. It's very homey, seems lived in. It's a work car, so I would imagine, is it clean or is it messy?
It's pretty clean. There's not very much in it. There's not very much that she carries, because what she carries is on her backpack.
Okay. So you find yourself driving. Now, the address of the location on the card is a little bit closer to the waterfront. You live on the northeastern part of town, as the town is separated by a large river. This is a community. The house in which you live is situated in a community that was probably seen better days. It's an old community, a lot of old houses, in various states of, disrepair and so forth. Overgrown lawns are the staple here. As you drift down one of the slow rolling hills towards the waterfront, there are the shrouded communities in trees and old wood and brick buildings, falls away into a more urbanized area. Large 10, 15, 20-story buildings, nothing higher than really that, as all of these buildings were built in a much earlier period of the city's history. They're all old. Many of them have been renovated. The streets are not clean. There are many working people lined up at the bus, for instance, or living on the streets. This part of town is not a hallmark worthy sort of place. There's not too many tourist fit photos of this part of town. So you find yourself driving, and you park on a very narrow parking spot on the side of the road that is packed full of cars. Finding parking is next to impossible. You walk down, or you basically notice the address is just a doorway, a simple door.
I am going to park the car, and I'm gonna look around to see if I can see where the location of this place is before I get out of the car, so I know exactly where I'm going.
The location, like I said, is just a doorway. It has the address numbers above it, or actually not above it. It would be next to the side, on the mailbox out front, where they have those things typically. It's a nondescript door on the side of an old building that looks to be largely abandoned. There's a storefront that is occupied a little ways down, but that looks closed. And other than that, it just seems like there's no housing here. You don't know what it might lead into.
I'll get out and start walking across the street, looking around me as I'm walking, keeping my eyes up instead of down. And I'll approach the entrance. Is there a speaker box or anything?
Yes, actually. There's a small little panel with a little button.
I'll press the button.
You hear a ring. After a couple moments, you notice that a small slit opens up. You hear the faint music. Nothing overpowering. It's not like club music or anything like that, but you do hear music at a larger volume. You can't quite make it out because it's muffled. It seems like it's further in. to the interior of the building. You see two beady eyes sprouting out from a very large face because of the situation on the eyebrows and everything. Who are you? What's going on?
I have an appointment. Hold on. I'm going to reach in my pocket and pull out the metal card and show him the metal card.
Oh, okay. Shink. Chunk. And you hear a slide of a metal bolt. Door opens and you can hear the music much clearer now. A large guy is sitting there with a black shirt. Obviously has that bouncer look to him. He looks at the card. All right, come on in.
I'll tap him on the arm real quick. Are you one of us?
We don't talk about this out here. Oh, come on in.
Okay.
He shuts the door and bolts it. He looks over at you. And speaks. He's like, "Look, are you new here? Did somebody give you this?"
Yeah, fairly new.
This is a members only card. This means you are a member.
They told me I was going to find answers here.
I see. Okay. I'm just gonna handle this like you. Whoever gave this to you wanted you to have a membership here. Come with me. There are others of your kind here. You don't talk to anybody though. People don't come here to talk.
Okay, I'll keep my mouth shut.
I'll bring you to somebody you can talk to. He's not one of you, but
fair enough. Sure, thank you.
come on. And he tosses the card in a metal bin that's kind of sitting off to the side, and he reaches into a thing and he pulls out another card and he hands you a card. It's like, that's for next time.
Yeah, I'll take it and I'll stick it in my wallet and stick it back in my pocket.
Do you look at it at all?
Yes. What does it say?
It says The Perfect Dream. It has an address, which is different from this one, and another date.
What's the date?
3 weeks from now.
Okay, I'll stick it in my wallet and not say anything about it.
He leads you down a narrow hall where you enter into a sort of the hallway basically has different doors. You hear the music get louder now. It's very calm and soothing, sort of modern electronica. It has a distinct feeling of mystery to it, sort of like trance or something, right? As you walk by doors, there's sliding doors with sort of paper screens or something similar, like glass maybe. You can't quite tell, and inside you can hear the faint, distinct sound of that of a tattoo gun, right? You see also several exits from the hallway that you're on, leading into some sort of weird lounge area with a bar. It looks like everything has basically been set up for here for a while. But it's definitely not like the interior of the buildings that hasn't been redecorated, hasn't been refurbished or anything like that. It looks like people came and basically threw up stuff in a really nice manner, but still it does not look to be at home here. Like this looks to be more or less a temporary spot. The man leads you over to one of the sliding doors, and he pulls it open. Inside, you see a room with several tables set up, like a workstation sort of thing. You see a man walk or get up inside the room. He's basically wearing the same similar black shirt, form-fitting shirt, black slacks. He has dark hair, and he has tattoos that are peeking out and running down. He has like full sleeve tattoos going all over his body in the style of what you might see. Kind of reminds you of like those old samurai films, you know what I mean? Like the people with the large tattoos. Or you've seen like, it's not necessarily like Yakuza tattoos, like, because those are very specific, but like those full body Japanese sort of tattoos. And the larger man, the bouncer, looks over at you. He's like, "This guy will talk to you."
Thanks, man. I'll walk over to the other guy. Actually, I'll take a seat. Is he sitting down?
Yeah, he's sitting on one of those like rolling chairs that it's like in doctors' offices or tattoo parlors, you know, where they can basically scoot around really, really fast. He sits down, and there's a flat table in front of you.
I'll motion to the table. Am I supposed to sit here?
Yeah. What's your name?
Lillith Hanlon.
They call me Neozumi. I can tell that you're not used to that name.
Good catch.
Are you religious, Lilith?
Not even a little bit.
Well, you don't have to be religious to come here, but I'm sort of like your priest. What happens here stays here.
So can I ask you questions?
Sure.
So what are we and what are you? Because obviously we're not the same.
Me? I'm very human. You? You're one of them. The same people who employ me. They're like you. They set this place up as a sort of a temple, as it were. Lay down. You ever have a tattoo before?
Nope.
Well, normally, your kind tattoos can often go away. So if you you get tired of it, you can heal it. But these tattoos you can't get rid of.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and lay down.
Do you... Oh, sorry. Continue.
I'm gonna go ahead and lay down, and I'll ask him, how come, as a human, you understand that we exist, but we were told not to let humans know that we exist?
Roll up your sleeve. Take off your jacket.
Okay, I'll take off my jacket and roll up my sleeve.
He walks over, or he rolls over, I should say. He just kind of shoots over, like turning his back to you. He goes to almost reach for the gun, the tattoo gun, and then he's like, I think you need, yeah. And he reaches over to an old wooden box. It looks to be very, like put in a position on the table that is in like a special place, right? It's not just scattered amongst the things. There's a reverence to where it's placed. And he opens it up, and inside there's 2 sticks, very thin, and they have sort of slightly finned points, right? They look like they've been carved, and they have they're very old looking. And he rolls back over to you. He takes the sticks out and he puts them down onto like a little desk right next to you, like a little tray. And he starts grabbing different pots of ink, presumably, and starts setting and arranging while he's talking. Some of us know. Most of us work for you, are forced to work for you. Me, I got talent, so I see things. And so the person who employs me doesn't force me to work. I work willingly because it's my job to pull beautiful things out of interesting people. Yeah, but overall, yeah, you guys don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, I was told as much. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna sit here and hope that I can get answers.
Only way you can get answers is by asking questions.
So can we live on an animal diet? Do we have to drink from humans?
I know you guys can feed on animals. I don't know if you need to.
Well, I ate my fucking cat this morning.
That shit sucks. Lay down.
All right, I'll go lay down.
While he's talking to you, you notice that he begins to pick up the ink, and he lays it down, and he starts dipping or pouring the ink into like a little reservoir, like a palette, and he starts dipping one stick into the palette, like the shorter stick, like and then he takes the other stick, which is like more like a blunt end, has a flat side to it, but it also has like a fin on the opposite side for wider cuts. And he starts tapping. If for anybody watching this who's never had a tattoo is slightly painful. It's like scratching. Not really that bad. It can be your points, but this is painful. He is using a lot of force. It's very heavy. Taking his time. Eventually the pain turns into a rhythmic sort of rapport. You notice that your wound, it doesn't bleed like a normal human's would. There's no blood coming out. He begins working on your tattoo slowly. So you just come here to find answers, huh?
Sort of. I don't even know what questions I should be asking.
See, that's, I think, the one answer you do have is that you need to find out what questions you need to ask.
So, how many more of us are there?
A lot. There are a lot. You've more than certainly met one. You may not have realized it.
Yeah, I'm questioning everything now. I don't know what to say. I'm gobsmacked.
Important thing is that you are changing. Everything changes. Now, you are, from now on, going to change a little less than, like, me. But then again, I mean, you have a lot longer time if you choose to use it. I think you're going to find that some of those changes you may not like. You may find that the answers that you need the most have already been answered for you from when you were a human.
Okay, so I don't even know what that means.
What I'm saying is that you're lost, right? What do you do when you're lost? You look for your map, you look for your compass, you look for your way, your polar north. You already have that. You already have that from when you were alive. That's going to get more and more distant. Because some of the people I've met, like you, they don't remember. They don't even know what it's like anymore. They just think only about feeding, blood. They treat me and mine like cattle.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it is what it is. I get used to it. It's fine, though. I don't get treated like that here. I think you need to find one of you who shares your disposition. Being lost.
No, I mean, two lost people aren't going to be able to find anything, right?
Well, I mean, if you do, I mean, it would help to have if the person you met has maybe more answers than you, like specific things, you know.
That's fair.
How do you feel about this entire thing, other than lost, obviously? I mean, your life's upside down, you're confused, yeah, you know.
This is the strangest fucking thing I've ever heard, and I'm a paramedic.
Yeah, right? Pretty fucking strange. When I first was shown, I thought it was pretty strange too. Couldn't believe it.
Well, luckily I live alone, so I don't accidentally kill anyone.
Yeah, I was gonna say next to that, if you live with somebody or you're married or something like that, you probably should, you know, can arrange for a little bit more private time.
Yeah, luckily life has dealt me a pretty isolating hand, so I'm clear on that end.
Mm-hmm. So there's gonna be a lot that you're gonna learn, right? And you need to sort out the ones that you want to be around and the ones you don't want to be around. I know that. Because the ones you don't want to be around, they're just going to use you. They're going to use you for everything they're worth. Your kind, some scheming motherfuckers.
Great. So they're organized.
Yes. There's an entire, like, government. There's an entire supply chain. Their fingers are in everything.
I'm just trying to take all of this in.
Yeah, I would also, like, probably not display this on social media. No more selfies, that sort of thing. I would start slowly, like, thinking about what you do on the internet.
I don't really use it. I don't really have the time. I work and come home, and that's about it.
What you gonna do about work?
I'm trying to quit, but he won't let me quit.
He won't let you quit?
No, he keeps offering me raises and begging me to stay and guilt tripping me to stay because we're understaffed. There's just not enough people.
Sounds like a pretty tough decision.
I've tried to get fired. He won't even fire me.
Seems nice.
They cut my hours to where I need them so they don't suspect anything.
So let me ask you something. You come in here asking me all this stuff. I mean, I don't mind answering. I mean, that's what I'm here for, to listen and talk. You know? But don't you, I mean, I know quite a bit, obviously. I mean, you know, I work in a place filled with you guys. Don't you have somebody that should be telling you this stuff?
You would think. I was told to not drink from my kind. I was told the sun was bad. And that was pretty much it. Oh, and don't tell humans that we exist.
That's a good one. Interesting. Look, I don't know. I can't. I'm not here to tell you what to do or how to do things. Right? In fact, that probably is exactly what they don't want me to do. But whenever, my first recommendation would probably be to find somebody who's a little wiser on the curve, and be careful on who you select to open up about your situation. I would start keeping my eyes out, because you'll probably start noticing now, once you know to look for something, you'll be surprised how often you find it. So my only thing is like, that would probably be the best course, I think, you know. But most of all, you gotta just remember, because you're not dead. You're dying. And the more every night that you give into that, the more you're going to forget what you were, and the more lost you'll become, even though you think you're on the right track.
That's some solid advice. I don't know. Am I looking for young ones like me?
I don't know. I would assume somebody who'd be willing to show you a hand, and maybe the younger ones might be the best choice with that. I know that the older ones are more connected, more powerful, obviously. Been around for a lot longer. I would also, you know, maybe not trust that just because one's older. Maybe they might have agenda. But new ones might also be pissing the old ones off. You know what I mean? You never know.
So, luck. Got it.
You'll know it when you see it. That's what I'm saying, is trust your instincts. And just be extra cautious with how much you give.
So, tell me about this government thing that exists.
A bunch of old ones. I don't know how old. They have rules, I guess. I've never heard of, you know, what rules, what they do. I know about the rule about secrecy, obviously. And you know, they control things. They like to control our society because they well, we're dangerous to them. You know, if we found out, people would panic, people would go crazy, hunt you down, you know, that kind of shit. So I guess they organize themselves to keep themselves secret, kind of like the mob. You know, they control some of us know, only if we're safe.
So, does this government encompass all what we are?
I think the term is kindred. I've heard that term flung around. I guess. I know that, well, I've never seen anybody in here trying to, like, tax us or anything, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. You know, see, the great thing about a secret society is that a lot of the people in it are pretty good at keeping secrets. So I imagine a kindred government is probably only really effective to a certain point. But I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I know that they fight amongst each other. So obviously somebody's trying to control somebody else. Because isn't that the reason why anybody fights?
So basically, I was brought from one shit show to another shit show in the underbelly of life.
It's pretty good. You should write things.
Stoner thoughts.
You'll be back. I see that in you. And you notice that your conversation has taken a lot longer, you know, and there's you guys chit chat a little bit, you know, as the rhythm and ritual of the tattoo sort of takes place in it, and there's a silence. But he works extremely fast and expertly, and you look down at your arm now, your focus away from Naozumi, and you notice that he, in a very short amount of time, has created a small, but rather detailed picture on your arm of a ocean, and it's spread out from a moon, right? Like a map, like you have a moon and on a map, and then like there's the ocean like you would see on a map, and you see snakes and dragons and things like that around the images. Is kind of starting to fade. He finishes up. I see in you beginning, obviously, but you see, once upon a time, people looked at those maps, you know, the little snakes and dragons, and they thought there were monsters out there. Well, it turns out there are no monsters. It was all a metaphor, the unknown. And they found their way. You see this? And he points to the bottom where the tattoo looks like it will naturally lead into another image that will perhaps be recorded on your skin. And it looks like there is a road sort of etched on some land, like the very faintest hint of land. But the road trails off, obviously, like, you know, as the tattoo ends. And Naozumi gets up, takes off his gloves. He'll be back. The card will have the date, and if you can't make that, then well, you gotta get another card for the next date. I'm not sure exactly why. I mean, whoever gave you that was a member and gave their membership to you. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. So if you can't make that date, I would at least show up and get a new card, because we're never in the same place. So
it's sort of a traveling thing.
Sort of. We mostly do for protection. We're not... A lot of people come in here and talk to us because it's our discretion is known for. That's the reason why they choose people like me. Who the fuck am I going to talk to? And there's a lot of people who would kill for those secrets. So, yeah, entire vampire government warring with people thing. Yeah. So, we move around. We're members only. Don't talk about us, please. There are people who know about us that aren't members, obviously. But we do a pretty good job of keeping those people out.
Okay. Don't talk about Fight Club and don't talk about Fight Club. Got it.
What does Lillith do next?
Lillith will sit there and stare at the tattoo. Just kind of getting lost in it for a minute. And then she'll get up from the table and slide her sleeve down. So, where should I begin my search for other kindred?
There's one thing I do know about you. Trouble always finds you. Just be savvy to it. Be prepared. You're like a magnet for danger. And it would help I would start looking into ways to acquire blood. Because if danger does find you, you don't want to be hungry.
Okay. I could probably do that. Either by animal or blood bag.
If you'd say you work for the hospital or something, right?
Yeah, I'm a paramedic.
Hey, man. There you go. I don't... That's one thing I do know. I think I had a customer in here who's complaining about... you can't feed on processed blood. I know that. Like, out of a blood bag. So you have to get the stuff before it goes through whatever bullshit they do. Like the raw stuff. I think that's what you need, right? But I imagine they keep that.
Somewhere. I'm not really sure, but I can figure it out.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, make sure you figure it out. I'm sure you will. You look like a capable person and you have more than enough motivation now. Yeah, just keep your eyes out. And don't ever come in here hungry, please.
Fair enough.
All right, I'll see you next time, Lillith. And he turns around and he goes to start putting his stuff away.
Okay, she'll walk out of the room and make her way towards the entrance.
The bouncer doesn't pay you any mind as he opens the door for you, half-heartedly letting you out into the street. As soon as you're out into the street, you realize that your phone is blowing up.
Take a look at my phone.
It's an odd distinction, but you notice one of the few things you've learned to do, mostly you were kind of forced into the situation, is mimic life. It's one of the things that first came to you the most naturally. You do have to stir that hunger within inside of you. But you can. But the one thing that you notice is that you can't use your cell phone, your smartphone, unless you are mimicking life, using the blush of life.
Yeah, I'll do that and then take a look at my phone.
You notice there's a voiced message that's been left for you from your work.
I'm going to hesitate for a little bit as I'm walking back to the car before I call the number back.
There's a answer, or there's after a couple moments, there's a ring and an answer. You hear a kind of a stiff voice, Erie?
Yeah, I can't make it in. My cat died.
Come on! I'm down to one driver here. Come on. Where are you? I'll have him just drive you by. It'll be just, you only got a couple more hours anyway.
I had to take my cat to the vet, and the cat died, and so now I'm making my way back home from the vet. So I am in mourning. I'm trying here.
Where are you? Where are you? Oh, like, is there something I could do for you? Where are you?
I'm driving right now back from the vet's office, and I'll give them the address of a vet that I know is nearby or something.
Okay. Are you? Oh, so you're going back home?
Yeah, I'm on my way back home.
Okay, I'll have Tommy meet you at your home. It's okay. It'll just be a couple hours. Thanks. You're great. You're my best driver. You're my best driver. We're getting slammed here.
I get it, Frank. I get it. Fine.
Thanks, Yuri. You're so great. I love you. I promise I'll give you all tomorrow night off.
Okay, bet.
And I think that's where we're going to leave it. As you drive home, you find an ambulance waiting there with Tommy. Tommy, you're pretty sure is on some sort of like amphetamines or something. Like he's always like super like, wow, like really energetic, and he talks a lot. He's probably one of the last person that you want to interact with when you're paired off with people. You embark in the ambulance and you go into the night to rescue lives and see to people's hurts, to address their pains while enduring your own.